this is live and recording. Okay, good. Okay, good. Hi, my name is Michael Dobson, and I'm having a little chat and an interview with Jessica Yeary. She's a candidate for the Public Defender's Office for the Second Judicial Circuit, which includes Leon County and surrounding counties. And Jessica and I, we've gotten to know each other a little bit over the last several months. She's in a race in which she's challenging an incumbent. And I want to take this opportunity to allow the citizens of that judicial circuit to know a little bit more about Jessica. And Jessica, if you can, just kind of give me an idea of, you can tell the audience here, where you're from and where did you go to law school?
Thank you. And thank you again. My name is Jessica Yeary, and I have been an attorney defending clients accused of crime for the past decade. I grew up in Cape Coral, Fort Myers area down in Lee County. After graduated high school, I went to the University of Florida, where I majored in criminology, management in nonprofit organizations, and general education. I went to Stetson University College of Law in St. Pete, which is where I met my husband, Ryan Yeary. He's also an attorney in town. So he runs Kamenez and Yeary, the law firm in Monticello. We were very blessed to be able to take over for John Kamenez and his family. So we have that law firm in Monticello with an office here in Leon. After graduating law school, we moved to Tallahassee, back to Tallahassee, and I immediately started working in the public defender's office. I did my internship at Stetson in the public defender's office down there and was eager to join the ranks. So I started volunteering while waiting for bar results in 2009, was hired then, and then stayed until about a year and a half ago when I resigned to run for the elected position.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, Jessica. And I'm just curious, you've never run for public office before. You've been in the trenches, working in the public defender's office, and you're in private practice now. And I'm just curious, what made you get involved in this political stuff? I mean, what?
Sure. So in the office, I started in misdemeanor court, and then I did felony court for 3 years where I defended people charged with felony crimes. And then I was a division chief. So the division chiefs are the leaders in the office that are responsible for not handling the most difficult cases, but also training and supervising and leading other lawyers in the office in a position of management. And I'm very proud to have the support of so many lawyers that I have supervised that still call me chief, and to know that our leadership style and our way of defending clients and their families is what's going to be most successful. You know, I have stood next to men and women and children in this machine of the criminal justice system. And there came a point where we knew to really make the difference that was needed for our clients and their families, we needed a change in leadership. And, I never went to do anything else. I'm still doing criminal defense. You and I talked earlier, I've got a hearing at 1:30 today. So I'm still doing it now. And that's my approach to leadership. I wholeheartedly believe that the elected public defender can't ask lawyers to do the work that they're not doing themselves. I believe that the public defender should be the first one in the office and the last one to leave, and should be handling cases, still defending clients, and still doing the work in the courtroom. One of the things I'm most proudest of is that I've earned board certification in criminal trial law through the Florida bar. And board certification is a high level of expertise. It means that my skill, knowledge, and level of comprehension of criminal trial law has been rigorously evaluated by the Florida bar. There's only 14 lawyers in our circuit that are board certified in criminal trial law. And that's one of the expectations I will set for our lawyers, because I truly believe that in order to make sure that our clients have the very best representation, we need to set that high bar for our skill level. And I wanted to say too, because you mentioned it, Michael, our circuit is the second judicial circuit. So we are going to be in Leon, Gadsden, Wakulla, Franklin, Jefferson, and Liberty. And we are on all of the ballots. So, no matter what you're registered or your party affiliation, we are on every single ballot and every single county of our circuit.
Okay, and thank you so much, Jessica. And, you and I talked earlier, and we've talked quite often, actually. and I get involved with the legislature a little bit. And what I do know is that because just the geography, you're here in Leon County, there's a good possibility that you're going to have an active role with the State Association of Public Defenders. And that office, the Public Defender's Office, not just in this circuit, but throughout the state of Florida, they experience a lot of challenges. And there's some budget issues and et cetera. And I wonder if you can kind of give the audience a sense of how those constraints and those issues impact the office in terms of what it is that they get to see and what they get to experience when they go to court and they think they're a little outgunned. And if you can kind of explain how that impacts the office and how you think you might want to address those in the office, and also working with the state association as well.
So currently I'm serving my second term as the president of the Tallahassee chapter of the Florida Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers. So FACDL and the Florida Public Defenders Association, they take on those roles in the legislature in lobbying for the resources and the critical criminal justice change we need in the law at the Capitol. So I'll continue to be working hand in hand with those organizations. However, because of our funding, we do have limited resources, and that is also always going to be a struggle that lawyers in the public defender's office have to deal with. But that means that we can't just sit by and wait for funding to implement the critical programs that we need so that our clients know, we are skilled lawyers. We are caring lawyers. We know how to cross-examine a witness. We know how to challenge evidence. We know how to thoroughly review the discovery and the reports in a case and put forward the best defense for our clients, because that's what they deserve, absolutely. And so the way we do that is with internal training, internal support within our own office, and it's something we can do even with limited resources. I want to be clear on that. There is no formalized training in our office. If you are hired, you start with a caseload and you're sent to the courtroom to begin your work. And we will make sure that we create the actual training program that teaches our lawyers, not just, the knowledge that they have from graduating law school and being lawyers themselves, but also investing in them with the knowledge and the skill so that they can earn board certification, so that they know how to be effective lawyers. Because I say this all the time, my colleagues and the committed criminal defense lawyers that have supported, my work in this campaign, they don't become public defenders because they think they're going to be rich or because they know they're going to, make millions of dollars. They become public defenders because they care and they are committed to ensuring that everyone gets the best representation, that they are treated fairly in a process that is completely overwhelming and completely overbearing, and they believe in the work. So as the leader of the public defender's office, we have to make sure that our lawyers and our legal staff and our social workers and our investigators are treated with respect and dignity, and that their work is valued, because then all of our work comes together, even with limited resources, even with, legislative budget constraints, to do our mission and defend our clients.
Okay, thank you. Now, and I'm with the Dream Foundation. We promote Dr. King's legacy statewide, and civil rights is a big part of that. And African Americans, all too often, we find ourselves, depending on the public defender's office, because of issues of low wealth and poverty. And for instance, in this particular circuit, there's a lot of, not a lot, but there's some pockets of poverty. And then there's rural areas and et cetera. There's oftentimes a feeling that these guys are not getting the attention they need as quickly as they need, and et cetera. And I think a lot of that has to do with those resources limitations that you talk about. Do you anticipate having any processes in place that would probably improve what I would call the customer service, if you will, of that office?
Absolutely. And I think that's a fair question. We have to earn back the trust and the respect of our community and the families of the people that we represent. And that comes from returning phone calls, staying in touch with our clients, when they're in custody, requiring that if you have clients in custody, you speak with them once a week or once every other week. That is not uncommon in other public defenders' office. We should be expecting that for all of our lawyers. And we will put the systems in place that even if it's not the attorney who can reach out, we can have our legal assistants reach out and our investigators reach out, so that the expectation of client contact is respected. Because absolutely, if you had a family member in jail, you would want to be able to speak with their lawyer. You would want to know, what the updates are on their case, even if it's to say, hey, we haven't gotten the full discovery yet, but I did set depositions in your case. They're 3 weeks out. We'll touch base again after that. That should be the normal expectation. Within our office, we're going to do some restructuring to make sure that the focus is not get a case, plea it out. We should be focusing on thoroughly reviewing the allegations in the case, thoroughly reviewing the evidence. And you can't, resolve a case without effective lawyering first. One of the current practices is the intake division or the rocket tocket division, where the focus is quick resolve of cases. And that is problematic when you're not thoroughly reviewing the evidence in the case. And the biggest thing, and I know you see this too, Michael, is people take a plea or resolve their case quickly, and it's not in their best interest. And there are, lifelong collateral consequences with employment, with housing, with resources, with reentry support for those convictions. And we need to do a better job of making sure we are setting up our clients to succeed. So if a trial is not in their best interest, or if we ultimately decide to resolve it with a plea, let's make sure that it's the best plea possible and that we're allowing our clients to move on in their life with a future that doesn't have this, scar on them for the rest of their life.
Okay, and thank you so much for that, because your office, in my mind, is probably one of the most important offices that we have in Leon County in terms of its impact on the African American family, and through all families, frankly, that end up being touched by the criminal justice system, and they need services because if it turns left, it impacts families, it tears them apart, it impacts the kids. So with that, I'm kind of wondering, are you going to start doing things like filing motions when need be? Because I think that's also been a concern. Back to what you were saying earlier about this issue of sometimes people think they're kind of being pushed into agreeing to things that they probably shouldn't agree, and there's this feeling that they're not getting the full representation that they should get. How do you intend to approach those things? And I think we got probably about 10 minutes left, maybe. But
thank you, and I appreciate. Yeah, that's the exact plan is that our focus and our culture of the office will shift from quick resolution, resolving cases, to one that is strength in litigation, in being lawyers, because where we make change in our role, and of course, we will continue to partner with our community leaders. We will continue to partner with our social services, our mental health coordination, our substance abuse, because those are all part of the process. And those are all important parts to make sure that our clients are successful. Absolutely. But we can't even get there if we're not effective lawyers first. And I absolutely expect that we do file motions when they're appropriate. We can't file frivolous motions. We have to have an ethical obligation, obviously, but we should be challenging stops and seizures. We should be challenging police misconduct when we see it. We should be challenging Fourth Amendment issues when people's homes are searched or when they're pulled over on a pretextual basis or without probable cause. That is how we as the lawyers put an impact on the state attorney's office, on law enforcement, so that they know, if we aren't being fair, if we're not following the law, the lawyers in the public defender's office are going to catch it, and they're going to check it, and they're going to make sure that the process is fair. The other issues are, bond and pretrial release. I wholeheartedly believe, particularly right now, with everything that's going on with COVID-19, that we should be filing motions in every case when we feel that a judicial determination should be made. And there are easier ways to do that, through our own processes and through our own technology, but we should absolutely be doing that in every single case. This is the bottom line. If we file 100 motions and we lose 90 of them, but we win 10 of them, that's 10 people that get to go home.
Yeah.
That's 10 people that get to be with their family.
Yes,
and it's not about winning or losing. It's about being there for our clients and showing them that we will absolutely do the work, and we will absolutely be in a courtroom ready to defend them and ready to show our evidence, our skill, and our argument on their behalf. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much, because I think that most people would like to have a public defender's office and a public defender who's treating them and their family the same as they would treat their own family, and consider it just as important. Now with that, it's going to lead me into, I promise it's not a trick question, but occasionally you may have situations where someone who's in local jail and or detention center these days, they're having some issue with the public defender. They're not happy, in some way, and maybe they may have a family member outside, or maybe they themselves want to contact you. Two things: how accessible are you going to be to deal with those issues when they come up? And while you having to have your employees back, if you will, your staff back, I mean, what kind of policy will you have in terms of determining if this case needs to move to someone else or anything of that nature? I know that's a kind of a trick question, but.
Yeah, but it's not, every person is entitled to have, the very best representation. That's what Gideon v. Ringbright is based on. They're supposed to have lawyers that are respectful and that are skilled. So within the office, we will have our own internal mechanism to check that. We have a system where we can see how many times you've contacted your client. We can see if you've sent them a letter. We can see if you've sent them the discovery. We can see what their court dates are. So obviously, as the leader and manager of the office, we will be checking that, because that's the expectation as an employee of the public defender's office, that you're professional, that you are responding to calls, that you're doing the work. That should be a bare bones expectation. But on top of that, ensuring that we're doing everything for our client that we can be, that comes in partnership with the division chief of that division, which is what I did as a felony division chief for 3 years. We would take client complaints. If a client said, hey, I haven't heard from my lawyer in 2 months, or when I spoke with my lawyer, they were disrespectful, or they, didn't respond to my mom, or however that complaint could be, we will absolutely work through that. But that comes in changing, again, our expectation of the office and how we all work together to make sure that our clients are being defended. So obviously, as the leader, I'm going to be checking into those. I will absolutely be reviewing case files when need be. I'll be handling cases of my own. So I'll be in the courtroom. I'll get to see how all of the assistant public defenders are working and what they're doing, what their dockets look like, how they're addressing the court, how they're working, with their prosecutor. So being present in the courtroom also gives me that extra level of knowledge and expertise, because I will be able to see the lawyers in the office and what they're doing. And that's what I did as a division chief. That's what I'll continue to do as the leader of the office, because again, I will be present in the courtroom. I went to law school to be a lawyer. I love working with my clients. I love giving a passionate, closing argument. I love cross-examining a witness. And most importantly, I love working with the people we represent and seeing them succeed. It's not about not guilties or dismissals. Sure, those are important and those mean a lot, but our successes are seeing my client at Publix 2 years down the road and him saying, Miss Jessica, I graduated and we've had a baby, or I just got this job. That's success. And that's why we do this, because the public defender's office, and this too, we represent the majority of the cases. And I think that's a lot of the education we've been doing throughout this campaign is, tonight, 15 to 20 people will be arrested, and the lawyers in the public defender's office will be appointed to represent 18 of them. Right. So when we talk about systematic change or truly influencing the criminal justice system and ensuring that the process is fair it has to come from the lawyers in the public defender's office, because we represent the vast majority of people that are arrested in our circuit.
Okay, thank you. And I really like something you said there about running into someone perhaps at the store or something, because we all are, I mean, what you're doing is a community service is what that office does. And it does it, frankly, to keep families together and to help us try to mitigate things in a positive way when mistakes are made. And I'm going to kind of end with a two-part question here. I want to ask you, given the various counties, what you got 6 counties here, you have a family yourself, you have children, and you're in private practice. How do you balance all of that? And B, tell us something that we don't know about Jessica Yeary.
Thank you. Well, the way we balance it is the way that I have been balancing it. My husband and I are a team. We are both lawyers. I am incredibly grateful to have his support 100%. And, obviously in our personal life, we have 2 boys that are 9 and 6, and they keep us on our toes. But like every other working family, we make it work. And my experience in the office, being an assistant public defender, being a division chief, picking a jury on Monday, having a trial on Thursday, working up cases in between, that's my passion, and that's where I excel and succeed, is in doing that kind of work. So balancing it, it will absolutely be an adjustment as the leader. But again, when you surround yourself in the office with other leaders and administrators and lawyers who are just as hardworking and just as committed, then it comes together in that team mentality where we're all working together, for the cause. And so I see our office with everyone there, first thing in the morning, and working together and sending ideas and researching issues together and filing motions together and being down in court together when issues arise. So I will continue to balance it as I have been, and running a campaign. Candidly, I get asked all the time, like, do you sleep? Not really, but it's important. And I don't want to leave anything left on the field. This is, such an important role. And, I'm wholeheartedly committed to leading an office with skilled and dedicated lawyers who are truly committed to fighting for our clients and our families. Something people probably don't know about me, this is everything I do. I still read, crime novels. I still watch Law and Order. I still watch all of these things. I object at the TV when I'm watching Law and Order, because half the stuff they let into court would never come into court in real life. But I really am, that person. And I truly, the cases that keep me up at night are the children that I have represented, the children who have been charged as adults or who are in a system. I can tell you by name the clients of mine that are serving a life sentence. I can tell you by name the clients I've lost to substance abuse or who've been victims themselves of violent crime. Those are the people that I'm doing this for. And I truly believe that this is a pivotal time. This is a time where we look back and say, what did we do to make change in our criminal justice system, in our community, and to make a better world, for the generations behind us. And I'm truly committed to doing that. So I appreciate this opportunity. Like I said, I've got court this afternoon, we'll be waving signs later. Our website is yearyforpd.com. It's Jessica Yeary. Again, we're on every ballot in every county of our circuit. And I would truly appreciate your support and your vote. Thank you.
You have my support, and thank you so much for taking the time. And I hope that this has been helpful to voters to know a little bit more about you and a little bit more, frankly, about the office and just the mechanics of it and how it works. And again, thank you so much, Jessica, for taking the time. And you have a pleasant day.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.